Man, it just looks so much better. It's cool to see that your money's actually going towards something, right? Definitely a couple $1 million difference for sure. Yeah. So season 3 of The Chosen is over, and now we get to see exactly how much things have progressed over time. I think for me, we often forget where we've come from. I mean, think about it. Me on my YouTube channel, I came from a long way away. I mean, things look totally different now, and we're in a completely different place. But for The Chosen, it's the exact same thing. Season 1 of The Chosen was funded just barely more than a church project would be. But season 2 got even more funding, and then season 3 got even more funding than that, and season 4, well, now we're at over $6 million an episode. So I wonder what the difference is. Let's take a look at a few of these chosen scenes and dive deep into the differences of the cinematography, the CGI, and everything else that's wrapped up into the visual storytelling of this show. There's a lot of stuff we want to look at, so let's jump into it. Here we go. So let's start off on episode 1 of season 1. Now we're going to look at 2 different scenes here between Eden and Simon. And I picked these 2 scenes because they're in the same location. So in episode 4 of season 1, sorry, I said episode 1, but I meant episode 4. In episode 4 of season 1, we see this long conversation. It's another fight between Eden and Simon that are really, really well done. Both of these scenes that we're going to look at. But this scene in particular is from an earlier time. So let's see the difference between the 2 scenes. Let's let this play through here.
I can't do this anymore. Please listen to me. I haven't been honest with you. There's no woman. It's not gambling.
So keep in mind, as we look through this, look at the lighting, look at how the scene looks overall, and what they're doing in the scene and how everything looks. Look at the background of the scene. Look at the actual room that they're in and the decoration in the room, everything that's there, the detail in the room. Make sure to take in everything here. So some things that I'm noticing as we kind of go through, the scenes look a lot darker than what we're seeing in especially season 3 of The Chosen. It does seem like the lighting is a little bit more nuanced and a bit better, even in this scene here, right? Like we have the candles in front of her, but it seems so much sharper and so much clearer of what's kind of going on here. It's obviously a way moodier scene, but let's play through this scene as well and kind of see what they've done a little bit differently.
Ethan! Where are you? Come here for a second. You remember Shula? Never mind, I'll tell you later. Anyway, so the guys ended up being Andrew's old friends.
So you can see, even in this scene, like this is supposed to be a dark scene. This is at nighttime. Everything's kind of lit by candles, but you can already see the intentionality of the lighting is maybe a little bit better than it was in season 1.
So I used questions that only someone who truly knows Andrew would know. And it worked. Suddenly, Jesus was in the square healing all those people, and he recognized John's disciple from somewhere. And they wanted to know if he was the real thing, which is crazy.
Of course, Shahar looks totally different, which is so interesting, to see the differences between them. And even Lada looks, a bit more mature, which is interesting, coming from the different style that they used in season 1. Lighting is definitely much better.
Given everything they just seen.
Lost the baby.
So, like, we're seeing the difference here. Like, it's obviously a different scene, and obviously the color grading is different. Everything's just a little bit different here. But you're seeing how even, like, the lighting is on his face, where, like, here it seems, like, really, really dark all throughout here, when he should have more of, like, a fill light over on this side of his body. But here you're seeing, it's supposed to be dark and moody in this shot here, but you're seeing way more of this like even lighting across his face here. I just think they've gotten better at it over time, and that more of the crew and more of the team kind of coming through. It's cool to see that. It's cool to see that your money's actually going towards something, right? We're also seeing more of an interest in the background of the image. So here, like, it's all being washed out. There's not that much interest in the background of the image. But here, you're actually seeing more of the detail and more of the things that are purposefully put in the background in order to make your eye kind of focus on specific aspects of the shot. And Eden's face here too, we can kind of do a little bit of a comparison between her face. So we're seeing here Eden, again, really, really dark. Like you have basically no detail in her hair up here at all. And then again, the background is kind of like disheveled. Like you don't see much of interest. Like you see this one curtain and then there's just a bare wall. But here you're seeing like the pattern in the curtain here. You're seeing things that are put intentionally in the background in order for you to see more. But even in this dark shot, yes, her hair is really, really dark, but you're seeing more of this even light that's coming over her forehead here and the catch lights that are in her eyes here. Really, really, really good. You're seeing the catch lights here that are coming from, up in the corner that are coming here, and you're seeing that in her eyes because she's crying. They really want to highlight her eyes here, but it just seems like overall the image is less interesting. It's less it's just lit differently, and probably not as many lights and not as many not as good of a setup as they had for obviously season 3. This is one of the shots that I want to compare. So you see this, all of this is put in later. Like we can pretty much tell that. If we look at like the boats and stuff here, it does not look that great. Like I think they did a good job and they did good enough for what they needed to do for this pilot to get the feeling across. But it's really strange. Like in these areas where the land is meeting the water and some different areas here, it doesn't feel correct. It doesn't feel right for whatever reason. But if we go to, for example, this, look how much of a difference that is. All of this in the foreground is all real, right? So this all the way up to this building here is all real. All of this is the new set that they built in Texas. So all of this actually exists in real life. It's all there. Now all of this, everything behind it, everything behind this is fake, right? But it looks so good. I remember when I first saw this in theaters, I was blown away by the amount of like quality that they brought into this scene. It just looks so good. Just the sunset being on all these real buildings here and then being on the hillside and all the buildings behind it, it just makes it fit so well in all of what's kind of going on here. We can just kind of look at the scene. And again, it's not a stationary camera. You're seeing all these things moving and doing, what they need to do. But then you come back to this and it's like, look at that difference. Like there's such a huge difference there. Definitely a couple $1 million of difference for sure. Yeah. Definitely a difference there. Real quick before we continue in the video, I have to show you guys this. So out of everybody that watches our videos, about 65% of you guys are not subscribed. And it's a really simple process. It's just a one-click button, totally free to you, no strings attached. But for us, it really truly means a lot. So you could really be the catalyst for making our dreams come true and allowing us to have a bigger ministry that impacts more people. So it would really mean the world to us. Please subscribe. Thanks. Let's get back to the video. So remember this scene, how it looked so flat when we go into this? Look at everything here. Like it just looks really, really flat, right? Especially this scene as they're kind of going through and they're arguing.
Even if you aren't.
Look how flat that looks. And then if we go here, look how dynamic like their skin looks, right? And I know it's supposed to be a different time of day and blah, 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 blah. But just look at the lighting, how amazing it looks in season 3.
They also carry beggars' bags for people to put gold and silver coins into. And you will not...
Especially Jesus here, and especially Simon in some of these shots is really, really cool. Like you're just seeing the highlights here and the shadows coming over, but the shadows aren't overpowering. There's just so much that's going into this where... it's just so cool. It's so cool to see. So I'm really glad that they've just upped it more and more and more and more. Let's look at a couple of different scenes from Mary Magdalene as well and talk through this as well. This is one of the first scenes that we see her in, obviously, episode 1 of season 1. She's dealing with a lot of different things here. And this is a flashback here.
Adonai's words. Thus says the Lord who created you, O Jacob. And he who formed you.
Let me fast forward just a little bit. Again, we're getting kind of that flat feel It's a bit more grainy, like some of you have pointed out for sure. But these are some bright scenes, so it looks pretty good. But again, it's just way flatter than what we're used to now in The Chosen. It just does not look nearly as good. Again, really, really dark. That shot in particular is a hard one because it's so bright behind her head. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing is like just the flatness of season 1. Like look at this scene compared to what we're about to watch with Mary and Tamar, right? Like as she's sitting here, let me go to a good shot. So like as she's sitting here, look at the difference in the color and the contrast and just the warmth that comes in The Chosen now, right? It's a completely different feel. But let's watch some of this scene here.
Because they know what they're doing. They know the soil.
Ask Grema, okay? She must have curated grapes from this region for her wines.
What are you doing that's so important?
I'm writing, Grema.
Thought you were bookkeeping.
Judas keeps the books.
So you can obviously see in this scene, now not everything is perfect, but it is so much better. And it's way closer to like Hollywood level, TV series. I could put this up against many, many, many of the TV series that we see, online today, and it would definitely hold up. Now, one of the things, if you watch this scene, you can tell when they do different takes, and there's some continuity errors in this scene in particular. So it's not perfect, right? But there are so many improvements from season 1, and so if you look at, for example, Mary. When we go to these close-up shots of her face, you'll see sometimes she has her hair in front of her shoulder, and then sometimes she won't. So like there, she didn't have it in front of her shoulder.
To here, I know you can do this in the
first
respect of his.
Like you can see in these different scenes
You
here.
correct the boys when they fight.
Doesn't have
Why
it
are
there.
you bringing the boys into this?
Is this because I can't try to read?
No.
Then
Does
what?
have it there. So you can see some of these continuity errors. They're taking from different times that they recorded this, and they forgot, or they just didn't realize during one of the shots she had her hair forward like this, and then during another one of the shots she had her hair back all the way. So little things like that. Obviously that's gonna happen in any show pretty much, but really interesting. Let's do one more comparison. Let's do Quintus's office. So let's go to episode 2 of season 1. So again, we're seeing kind of that flat profile, and I'm sure that this was purposeful, right? Like they wanted it to feel this way, but then later on they're like, no, we want to give it more life, we want to give it more warmth, we want to give it more contrast, just different things like that.
Simon. Is in your district?
He is. I do not find Simon
So we're seeing, again, I'm just trying to make observations as we go through. We're seeing these like super high highlights in the windows and in his shirt here, and then like really, really darks in the corners and stuff. I feel like it's a little bit more evened out in season 3, but let's jump to this.
Vivid. I think.
So you're seeing these highlights here, but they're not blown out like they are here. Like this is pure white, right? And this is pure white in the windows. But we're not seeing that here. Man, it just looks so much better. That's crazy. I did not think this was going to be this big of a comparison, but it is so much different.
Freedom.
You do that. Brown water make you deaf? Go. Do it now. Watch the talent leave their bodies when they arrive from Rome. You could keep
Now, the windows here are supposed to be blown out because they're in like a stage here. So if they were to look out these windows, they'd just see like a bunch of props and people and lights and stuff. So these windows are supposed to be blown out here.
What do you want?
So let's look at the difference here between when he's standing here. Look how much darker this room is here than here. Like we're seeing his face. We're seeing the intentional lighting that's going on here. And here it's like, yes, it's intentional lighting, but the way that it's done is so much different. Like, it's crazy different in this scene for sure. We're seeing these huge highlights on his right and left that are kind of coming through, and then a really dark streak through the middle, really making it moody and kind of darker. It's still moody and dark, but I feel like it's so much better here. Like, it's so warm and you're getting so much more color, and the fall off of the light is way less harsh. Like, it's just it's a beautiful picture compared to this, right? It's crazy to see the difference. Really, really crazy. Even the costume design, look at how cheap this looks compared to this. It's crazy. I haven't looked at this stuff before, so I haven't looked at the differences that we've been seeing this whole time. Just the difference, like in this shot right here, right, where the two of them are, and we see these two. Like, look at that difference. It's so huge. It's crazy. It's really crazy to me. I knew season 3 looked better, but I didn't understand, I don't think, how much better it looked. Really, really cool to see. If you enjoyed this part of our weekly live stream, then you can check out the full live stream over on our Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is absolutely the best way to help support our ministry and our channel, and it really means a ton to us. This is my full-time job now, so honestly, it really, really helps out, even a little bit. $5, $10, or $25 a month, and you can have full access to everything on our Patreon. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.